And welcome to a VSA Capital video blog, and delighted to have actually Mark Bolton, the CEO of Panthera Resources, which is the very interesting litigation case against India. Mark, you're down in Australia. I know you've just had a long flight back from the UK actually as well. So if Mark's looking a little bit tired, we'll forgive him. But he's got some very exciting things to update us on and tell us. I know that. So let's just kick off. I mean, you've had quite a lot of announcements recently, Mark. You did announce about your whole arbitration panel. Do you want to just update quickly on where you are with that?
Sure. Look, we issued a notice of arbitration just over 2 months ago. That the issue of the NOA kickstarts a process under the treaty to form the tribunal, the arbitral panel, which comprises 3 panel members, including a chairperson. That process is still underway, but what we did announce that good progress has already been made. In particular, both India and ourselves have completed our appointments, and we're now going through the process under the rules and the treaty to appoint a chairperson. And we hope to announce an update on that in the near future.
Okay, now obviously we know these things do take a long time, and you have to be patient. But actually, this morning, Tuesday, we just had some terrific news actually out of GreenX Metals, which, for want of a better word, has been the poster boy in this asset class of litigation. But they've
Indeed.
just won $490 million in their case against the government of Poland. I mean, you have to be a bit careful when I ask you, Mark, what views do you have on that, other than the fact it's very, very positive for the asset class and looks pretty good for you?
Look, GreenX was, as you correctly point out, was the poacher child. It was a leader in the space for us, and was one of the reasons which gave us confidence in pursuing the claim against the government of India. Whilst each case is unique, there are a number of similarities between our 2 matters. Obviously, they're both. We haven't actually announced our claim amount. We will do that in the coming months. But assuming, given the quality of the asset, it will be equally, if not more, substantive number. The expert will ultimately determine that amount, but let's just call it a substantive number. Both of them relate to an asset that was, if I can use colloquial language, taken by the state and applied elsewhere. In our case, the government has proceeded to auction the asset. And lastly, both us and LCM are being financed by LCM. In fact, we are the 3rd matter in the, if you like, in the pipeline on mining arbitration cases. The first one being announced around a month ago in Indiana, where they reached a settlement with the government of Tanzania. GreenX has been pending an award now for some more than 12 months. So there was a lot of, let's call it, both anticipation and anxiety to see how they landed. Ultimately, it was a successful outcome. Just looking at their share price today, it's doubled. They're trading at, my guess is, I haven't done the new numbers, but they were trading at around 20% of their claim value. My guess is they're trading probably at around 60 or 70% of their reward now. Now, as I said, we haven't put our statement of claim in, but I can say we are a fraction of all those numbers based on our internal estimates.
I think it'd probably be fair to say, Mark.
Others.
Yeah, it'd be fair to say, Mark, you're probably trading on cents to the dollar rather than double-figure percentages, aren't you? Just leave it like that.
Look, indeed, if we were trading at a mere double digits, then we would be a very happy camper. So LCM and GreenX have done a formidable job, and we hope to do equally as successful as them.
Yeah, and I think it shows that international law stands up, and as you say, having LCM, Litigation Capital Management, behind you, and they're behind you for the tune of, correct me if I'm wrong, about $13.6 million or something, aren't they?
Yeah. A large. They've backed us more than GreenX. I think. Don't quote me on the precise number. I seem to recall it was 16 or 18 million Aussie. So off memory, I think it was circa 12 million US or 11 million US, something of those sort of numbers, in terms of their backing of GreenX. Yes.
Anyway,
But you're
look,
right.
it's great.
It gives us a lot of confidence that this path is one that can generate shareholder returns.
Yeah, no, look, it's got to be great news. But again, we know we all have to be patient, and that we may be, we're talking years, not months, until we get an outcome. But it's like a zero coupon bond. Sorry, it slowly creeps up to where you aim to get to. Now, just quickly, Mark, there have been a couple of other
Indeed.
things you've announced very recently. One is your full year results, which probably we should just quickly touch on. But also, you've talked a little bit
Sure.
of an update on West Africa. So do you want to just chat through both of those?
Look, the full year results was an interesting to observe the market's reaction to it, largely because let me just close the door. We've got the fairy friends interfering. The full year results, it was interesting to watch the market's interpretation of the results until they realised that the rather low cash balance was effective in March, and we'd subsequently done a capital raise, which saw us fully funded until at least the middle of next year. So once I think it took a day or so for the market to reset itself and properly understand what we'd announced. The reaction obviously was unexpected and somewhat disappointing, and our messaging could have been clearer to avoid that confusion for those 48 hours. But it is what it is. Other than that, I mean, the annual report really was just a fact pack of the milestones that we'd achieved over the last 18 months, most notably closing the financing with LCM, kicking off the notice of dispute and the notice of arbitration subsequent to year end. So, we were very happy with what we reported in the annual report, albeit somewhat backward looking, which is what accounts are. Look, moving on to West Africa, as we've communicated to the market, we have finished up two drill programs, one at Bido and one at Kalika. Both of those results are due imminently. The Bido results is pure exploration, and it's we've targeted two zones, two of more than 2 or 3 dozen targets on the property, and they are exploration, and we'll live and die by the drill bit. So it's important that we ensure those properties remain in good standing, and hence it was a small program. That property does command a considerable investment because of the long list of opportunities on the property. But that's not for us to do, and I'll talk about that in a minute. At Kalika, its infill result or drilling, and on a much better understood resource. It's not a formal resource, let's call it an ore body, and we're pretty optimistic that we'll get good results on that one. and have a much better understanding of the high-grade zone that sits on the east side of that K1A zone that heads northeast direction. Also, whilst that drill program was very small, it also is important that we maintain that property in good standing. And what we're trying to achieve is make sure these properties are in a good position as we look to maneuver the assets and restructure our West African business outside of our balance sheet, and see someone else meet those obligations going forward and preserve the value for our shareholders whilst we maintain that trailing interest in those assets, and hopefully at a point in time generate some cash from them as well.
I mean, just quickly jumping back to your full year results, Mark, I think in fairness, the UK market at the moment is pretty grim at the junior end. And people were able to take profits. And ahead of our budget on October the 30th, anybody who's got a profit is sort of taking them just in case capital gains tax has changed. And so I really wouldn't worry about it. I think it's a market symptom rather than a symptom of actually your results and the way you present.
Well, that's very kind. You're very kind, but it's my job to make sure those things don't happen. So I will just have to how would you say, minimize the impact next time.
But just, I mean, wrapping up, there's 4 bits of news that's basically happened in the last few weeks, which is all actually good news and pretty exciting. Just quickly touching base, because this is very much an update video. What can we look forward to in the next, should we say, 3 months or so, running up to the Christmas and the New Year?
Look, we would hope to, in the shorter term, see a conclusion to the appointment of the arbitral panel. So ultimately, effectively, the chairperson. I don't see why we won't achieve that sooner rather than later. We just need to let the process run its course and that step completed. Once that step's completed, there will be effectively a scheduling hearing, maybe just a paper hearing or in-person hearing, or it could be in several formats, but that'll provide a timetable for the rest of the case. So as soon as we get the panel put together, those arrangements in terms of the timing for that hearing can be put together, and that'll map out it'll map out the timetable for the rest of the case. The statement of claim is due around the end of this year as well, and once we have the tribunal hold that scheduling hearing, we'll have a greater understanding of that timetable. Obviously, we've got the results for West Africa to come through, but also we are making good progress in West Africa and the restructure, and we hope to provide an update on West Africa in the near future as well. I think that covers everything I can think of, Andrew. It's a bit of a blur at the moment with so much going on.
No, look, actually, that's quite a lot of news. I mean, for a litigation stock, you often don't get any news for a long time. So we just had an awful lot of news, and actually there's an awful lot of news to come up in the next 3 to 4 months, in particular the statement of claim. I think will get people, hopefully very excited.
Indeed. That behind the scenes, obviously, with the litigation, there's a lot of work going on with our legal team and our experts. So whilst on the surface it does, there's only milestones every so often, there's an enormous amount of work that goes into those milestones along that journey.
Mark, great to have a catch-up video. I suspect we'll have another one probably at the start of next year after all of that news come out. I'll let you catch up from your travels, because I know you had quite a lot of trouble getting back to Australia. Thank you very much. Obviously, if anybody's got any further questions, do get in touch with us, and we can either put you in direct touch with Mark or answer ourselves. But thank you, Mark, very much.
Thanks very much for reaching out, Andrew. Cheers.